The Blackwood Hotel used to be fancy and fun, but now it was spooky and sad. Evelyn, who liked to film creepy stuff, just had to see inside. She walked in with her camera, feeling a little unsure. Cobwebs hung everywhere, and dust danced in a tiny ray of sunlight. It was super quiet, except for dripping water. It felt weird. Following ripped wallpaper, Evelyn found a big, fancy room. A lonely piano sat in the middle, its white keys glowing strangely. A sad, slow song filled the air, like it was coming from the piano itself. Curious, Evelyn went closer. The music got louder, swirling around her like ghosts. She nervously touched a key. A loud, wrong note broke the sad song. Silence. Then, a blood-curdling scream. Evelyn spun around, scared. A lady in a raggedy dress appeared, her face hidden in the shadows. "Don't touch," the lady rasped, her voice hollow. "That song is our sadness, how we all died." Evelyn shivered. This wasn't just a ghost story. It was a sad event stuck in the hotel. The lady spoke of a jealous lover who poisoned people at a big party, the last happy time at the Blackwood. As she spoke, ghost-like figures of the poisoned people appeared. Dressed in old-fashioned clothes, they danced a sad dance, their faces forever filled with sorrow. Evelyn understood now. The lady wasn't bad. She was stuck, reliving the bad night with the music. With shaky hands, Evelyn played a simple, happy song. It didn't erase the sadness, but it added a little piece to the music. The ghost people slowed the dance, a flicker of understanding in their empty eyes. The lady seemed calmer too. "Thank you," she whispered. "You gave us peace." With a sigh, the figures vanished like smoke, their sadness finally gone. The Blackwood wasn't haunted anymore. It was just an empty shell, holding the memory of a forgotten tragedy. Evelyn left the ballroom, feeling the weight of the story. The Blackwood might be empty, but it wasn't scary anymore. It was a reminder of a love story gone wrong, but also of how someone's kindness could bring peace, even to ghosts. The Grimstone wasn't on any tourist maps. It wasn't a place you stumbled upon by accident. It found you. At least, that's what Arthur, a weary traveling salesman, discovered after a series of wrong turns and a dying GPS. The once grand facade loomed ominously in the twilight, a skeletal silhouette against the blood-red sky. Despite a gnawing unease, Arthur, desperate for shelter, pushed open the creaking mahogany doors. The air inside was stagnant, thick with the smell of mildew and something else, a metallic tang that sent shivers down his spine. A single flickering bulb cast long, grotesque shadows across the dusty lobby. The cobweb-draped reception desk was deserted. A dusty ledger lay open, its pages filled with spidery script. As Arthur leaned closer, a name jumped out, his own, scrawled in a hand he didn't recognize, with a date from the previous century. Panic clawed at his throat. Then, a voice, cold and raspy, echoed from within the hotel. "Welcome, Mr. Thompson. We've been expecting you." A skeletal figure materialized from the shadows, a bellhop in a tarnished uniform, his eyes mere black pits. Arthur stammered, denying any reservation. The bellhop chuckled, a dry, hollow sound. "Reservations are a formality here, Mr. Thompson. The Grimstone caters to special needs." He gestured towards a rusty elevator, its cage rattling ominously. Terror paralyzed Arthur. He wanted to flee, but an unseen force held him rooted to the spot. He had no choice but to follow the bellhop, ascending into the bowels of the hotel. The elevator lurched and groaned with each floor, the gargoyle-shaped sconces flickering in a macabre dance. They reached the top floor. The air crackled with a sickly green light emanating from a single room. Inside, spectral figures swirled in a grotesque ballet, their skeletal bodies adorned with tarnished finery. A skeletal band, their instruments held in skeletal fingers, played a discordant waltz. Arthur understood. The Grimstone wasn't a hotel. It was a prison for restless souls, forever reliving their final moments. He was no guest, he was the next victim, doomed to join their macabre dance. But a flicker of defiance sparked in Arthur's eyes. He wouldn't go quietly. He grabbed a nearby candelabra and hurled it at the skeletal band, shattering the silence. The spectral figures froze, their heads jerking towards him. In that moment, the metallic smell intensified. Arthur recognized it, the smell of old blood. He yanked open the window, gasping for fresh air. With a final, chilling scream, the spectral figures dissolved into wisps of smoke, their eternal torment finally broken. Arthur stumbled out of the grimstone, the first rays of dawn painting the sky a pale pink. He collapsed onto the grass, gasping for breath. He didn't know how he did it, but he knew one thing for certain. He would never speak of the grimstone or his harrowing check-in, a check-in nobody would ever remember. Eleanor, the archivist with an insatiable thirst for history, returned to the Blackwood Hotel. The first visit had left an unsettling mark, the whispers of the poisoned souls echoing in her mind. Yet, a morbid curiosity gnawed at her. What secrets did the Blackwood hold beyond the ballroom? This time, she wasn't alone. A renowned paranormal investigator, Dr. Vance, accompanied her, armed with EMF readers and audio recorders. The air inside the hotel hung heavier than before, a suffocating silence pressing down on them. As they ventured deeper, the whispers returned, but this time, they were fragmented, filled with a chilling sense of urgency. They reached a dusty library, its shelves groaning with leather-bound tomes. In the center, a single book lay open, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and disturbing etchings. As Dr. Vance scanned the symbols with his EMF reader, it went haywire, the needle spinning wildly off the gauge. A cold gust of wind slammed a heavy door shut, plunging them into darkness. Eleanor fumbled for her flashlight, its beam revealing Dr. Vance, his face pale with terror. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. A voice, not from the walls, but from inside my head. Panic clawed at Eleanor's throat. The whispers intensified, a cacophony of voices merging into a single, chilling message. "Find it, unleash it." Dr. Vance's eyes glazed over, his voice becoming an extension of the whispers. Fear turned to dread as he grabbed a rusty fireplace poker, his gaze fixed on Eleanor. A horrifying realization dawned on Eleanor. The Blackwood wasn't haunted by ghosts. It was a conduit to something far more sinister. It preyed on weaknesses, twisting them into dark desires. The whispers weren't just a story, they were an insidious infection. Thinking fast, Eleanor lunged for the open book. The symbols pulsed with an unholy light, and a wave of nausea washed over her. But fueled by a desperate need to fight the infection, she started reciting a forgotten prayer, one passed down in her family for protection against malevolent forces. The air crackled with unseen energy. The whispers contorted into a piercing shriek as the room pulsed with a blinding light. When it subsided, Dr. Vance lay unconscious on the floor, the poker clattering beside him. The book lay closed, its symbols dull and lifeless. Eleanor stumbled out of the library, a haunted look in her eyes. She helped Dr. Vance out of the hotel, and as they walked away, she noticed a faint glow emanating from the library window. It was a chilling reminder that the entity within the Blackwood was dormant, not destroyed. And the whispers, though silenced, might rise again, seeking a new host, a new vessel to unleash its horrors upon the world.